Welcome to our mathematics revision class, and in this mathematics revision class I'll be doing Math 1100 2023 final exam, and this is just my part 4. That simply means that I have part 1, 2 and 3, of which part 1 up to 3 they have questions from question 1 up to question 3. And then part 4, it is the one which is having question 4. And yeah, so this question is having part of question 3. I think I can see question 3. So this is question 3, which I did not solve yesterday, and question 4a, so meaning B and C I'll solve them tomorrow or any other day. So the first one is, which is question 3c. Solve the following inequality expressing your answer in the interval notation. This was solved in Math 1120. Yeah, Math 1120 2023. I solved a question like this one, exactly like this one, just that this one they have added interval notation. And I'll never stop telling you that Math 1100 and 1120, they are just the same, just that they are just names to differentiate. So I'm going to get x plus 6 over x plus 1 is less than 2. I'm not going to go much in detail because I explained much during the solving of Math 1120. So go and watch the video in Math 1120. So x plus 6 over x plus 1, 2 will go to the other side, it will be minus 2 is less than 0. So from there, what you are going to do, you find the common denominator. So the common denominator is x plus 1. So x plus 1 into x plus 1, it is 1. So 1 times everything, it is x plus 6. Then that negative 2, you write it like that. This negative 2 is the same as over 1. 1 into x plus 1, it is x plus 1, which we are going to multiply by negative 2. If I can remember very well, where there is negative 2, in that question there was negative 1. If I remember very well, it was negative 1. Then from there, when you work out that, this will be x plus 6. The negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times 1, it's negative 2 over x plus 1, which should be less than 0. So we have x plus 6 minus 2x minus 2 over x plus 1, and it less than 0. So when you work out this, this will give you negative x plus 4 over x plus 1 is less than what? 0. Once you reach this stage, what you have to do now is to look for the critical point, just like we solved in Math 1120. So we are going to look for the critical point. So for the critical point, we are just going to get the numerator. You say x plus 4 is equal to 0. So negative x is equal to negative 4. So x is simply equal to 4. This is your first critical point. Your second critical point, you get x plus 1 is equal to 0. Okay. So x is equal to -1. So this is your second critical point. Do we have any question, ladies and gentlemen? Any question? Haggai, do you have a question?
No, sir, I'm okay.
All right. So after finding the critical point, you're going to utilize the table. You're now going to use the table method. So this is not something new because it's something that we did in math 1120 solution. So I'm pretty sure this is not something that is new to everyone. So you put your critical points where they are supposed to be. You're going to put your critical points where they are supposed to be by comparing the bigger one and the smaller one. So the smaller one is -1, the bigger one, it is simply 4. So here you're going to say x is less than -1, then x is in between those guys, and then x is greater than 4. So that's your table. There are people who miss out this writing here. This writing here you are seeing here, it is a writing that you have to put there, especially if you are attempting mathematics for the first time. Not putting these guys inside here, it might cost you at one particular point. I've seen a lot of people, they don't put these signs inside. It will cost you at one point. So make sure that you do what I've written. So what was on top was -x plus 4, and then what was down was x plus 1, and then I can write that again. I write that, and then what is down there has to be the whole expression, which is -x plus 4 and x plus 1. So this is what we have as of now. Then you go to your table, you say which number is less than -1. Of course, -2. So if you put -2 where there is x, it's going to be positive. The whole overall equation will be positive. You get -2 there, this will be negative. You get a number between -1 and 4, which is 0. 0 there, it will be positive. 0 there, it will also be what? Positive. You get a number which is greater than x, which is simply 5. So you put a 5 there, this will be negative. You put a 5 there, this will be positive. Overall, what you have is that positive times negative, it's negative. Positive times positive, it's positive. The negative times positive, it's negative. Once you do that, you go to your expression, which is this one. So this expression is -x plus 4 over x plus 1 is less than 0. So the sign in between, it is the one which is telling you what you want. This sign here, okay? This sign here is telling you that we need negative. So you're going to go where negative is, which is this one, and that one. Therefore, your solution set, your solution will be what we have, which is simply x is less than -1, and then x is greater than what? 4. So with these two values that you have found, which is I'll write solution, which is x is less than -1 and x is greater than 4. X is greater than 4. So you can now write these guys in a set notation. Remember, you have been told to write in interval notation. So you're going to change this to -infinity, comma, -1 cross bracket. Since this has no equal to union, then you're going to get this one to be open since there is no equal to there, and then 4 comma positive infinity cross bracket. So this was the final answer. This is how the final answer was supposed to be written. So for changing this one to that one and this one to that one, please check out my classes on sets. Check out my classes on sets, and then there are some questions on this same topic which you have to check out again. So after we do this, I can freely go to the next question. I can freely go to any question, but if you have a question, please feel free to raise your hand and I'll be able to allow you to ask. So the equation we have is 4x squared minus kx plus 1. The keyword is positive for all values of x. Is positive for all values of x. So that's where the key point is. So here you are going to say, since it's positive, you're going to say discriminant should be greater than what? 0, since it is a positive integer. So in such a case, since it's a positive value, so what we are going to do, we are going to say discriminant, which can be represented by d, is equal to b squared minus 4ac. So we are going to say b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0. So we are going to put you're going to identify which one is a, which one is b. So in that particular case, this is your a, this is your b, and that is your c. Once you identify those guys, you can easily work on this. Your b is -k, so -k squared minus 4, and then your a is simply 4, and then your c is simply 1, should be greater than or equal to 0. So this is k squared minus 16 should be greater than or equal to 0. If you remember very well, we did this same question in Math 1120, but we were not taught positive value. Instead, we were taught complex number. We were given complex number or imaginary value. That's what we were given for Math 1120. So they're just one and the same, and practice both. So you have k squared minus 16. K squared minus 16 is greater than 0. So you're going to have k squared is greater than 16. So at that particular point, you're going to introduce a square root. You're also going to introduce a square root, of which there you put positive or negative. So that and that will go. So k is greater than positive 16, and k is also less than negative 16. We have changed the negative because there is a negative which has been introduced there. That's why we have changed the negative. So there k is simply greater than what? 4, and k there is less than negative 4. So this is what was the answer. This was what was the answer. So your answer is this one, and also your answer is simply that one. So that was the answer. So that was the answer there. Simple. You can represent this work in set builder notation. You can present this work in set builder notation, where you can say this 4 comma positive infinity, and then that one is negative infinity comma negative 4, and then this will simply give you something like negative infinity negative 4 comma cross brackets, then you have union, and then you say 4 comma infinity. So yeah, easy. That's how easily this question was. So check out the other type, in math 1120, which I've already solved. Do we have people with questions? Anyone with a question, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, since there are no questions, I can move on and look at my next part, which is what we have done for those who are reporting to school this year. We have reached up to polynomial. We have reached up to that point. Yeah, everything here we have done. So for this question, it's also an easy question and a walkover. So what you're going to do is you're going to write your px, which is equal to negative x to the power 4. Remember, this negative x to the power 4 doesn't have the friends, isn't it? So you can add them to be plus 0x cubed, and then you again add plus 0x squared, and then you add plus 0x, and then you say plus 0, so that you make it more unique. Remember, you have been asked to find the remainder and also the quotient. So in this particular one, you can't use synthetic division, so you are going to use the long division method. So let's quickly utilize the long division method. So I'll draw my thingy like that. Inside there, I'll put negative x to the power 4, and then plus 0x cubed, and then there I'll say plus 0x squared, and then I'll say plus 0x, and then I'll say plus 0. Then for inside there, what I can do is I can write negative 2x squared plus x minus 3 plus x minus 3. So this is what I have. Now I need to do what? I need to start doing the division, this into that, that into that, and that into that. So what I can do here, I'll start my division, which was a bit tricky here. So I have negative x to the power 4. I divide throughout by negative 2x squared. Remember, it's only that guy there. So that will be neg half, and then you're going to have x squared there. Sorry, positive half, not negative half. It's going to be positive half, so I can divide there. So this will give me positive half, and then x to the power 4, x to the power 2, because that one and that one, they'll give me a 2. So this is giving me half x to the power 2. So half x to the power 2 times that is going to give me something like x, the negative x to the power 2, negative x to the power 2. If I multiply this guy by that, it's going to give me something like that. Then if I multiply this guy by this, it's going to give me something like positive x cubed over 2, x cubed over 2. Then this times that, it's going to give me something like negative 3x squared over negative 3x squared over 2. So this is what I'm going to simply have. So with that information which I have gotten there, I think let me use a different color on top to just differentiate that guy from the normal equation. So there we have half x squared. Okay, then here I'll simply subtract. So that minus that, remember there is a 4 there. Okay, that minus that is 0. Then this minus that is simply going to be negative x cubed over 2, and then this and that, it will be plus 3x squared over 2, and then these guys will simply be plus 0x, then plus 0. They will come down. Once I'm done with that, I'll once again divide this guy into that guy, isn't it? This guy into that guy. So what I'm doing now is negative x cubed over 2 divided by 2x squared, 2x squared. So this will simply give me something like negative x cubed over 2 times 1 over 2x squared. So this one and that one, they'll give me an x, then that one will give me a 4. So on top it will be negative, on top it will be negative. Remember that one is negative, isn't it? So negative there, so there will be a positive. So I'll put a positive there, and then what I've gotten is simply 1 over 4 x. Once I have that value there, once I have that particular value there, I can move on and multiply that value by everything that is on that side. So let me multiply everything by what is there. So this one times that one, okay, this one times that one is going to give me something like negative, since that it will be, it's going to be 1 over 4x times negative 2x squared. Okay, so automatically we know that will be a cubed, and this will be a 2 there, and that one will be a 1 there. So this is giving us negative x cubed over 2. Okay, x cubed over 2. Then here you say that times that, automatically it will be a squared. So you're going to have plus this guy into times that one it's giving you something like 1 over 4 x squared, 1 over 4x squared. Then this times that, it's going to give you negative 3x over 4, negative 3x over 4. Okay, with this information, you are going to now, what you are going to do is to subtract. You're going to subtract. So I'll do my subtraction. So this one minus that one, it's a 0. Automatically it's known. It's going to be a 0 there. Then this one into this one minus this one, it will be minus that. So you have 3 over 2 minus 1 over 4. I'll deliberately ignore the x squared. So this will be 4 there. So this will be 6. Yeah, this will be 6. And then 6 minus 1. So 5 over 4. So down there, we are going to have 5 over 4. 5 over 4 x squared, 5 over 4x squared minus 3x over 4, minus 3x over 4 plus c 0. Okay, once we are done with that particular point, it's very easy for you to move on and divide once again, because the squared is still there. So you're going to divide once again. So if we divide once again, let me just change my color. So if we divide once again, you're going to say negative 2x squared into 5 over 4x squared. So you have 5 over 4 x squared divided by negative 2x squared. So this is the same as 5 over 4x squared times 1 over 2x squared. Okay, 1 over 2x squared. So that is squared and that one will go, this and that will give an 8. So since we have that, remember there is a negative, so it will be a minus. So this will simply give us a minus 1 over 8. Minus 1 over 8. So we have reached at this point where things seem to be like that. So what we can do now is to just simply work on these guys which are remaining. So I'll pick it up from here due to space. So due to space, I'll pick it up from there. So I'll get this section here and take it to that particular point where this red will go as the way it is, like that. Then my guy there who is in blue will be 5x squared minus 3 over 4x and then plus 0. So ladies and gentlemen, I've taken this part to that part due to space. So once I'm done with that, how I ended here, I'm going to say negative 1 over 8 times negative 1 over 8 times negative 2x squared. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do in this particular point. Remember that guy is coming from 5 over 4x squared divided by 2x squared. So this will give you 5 over 4x squared times 1 over 2x squared. So it's not 1, but it is a 5 on top. Okay, I had to put a 1. Wherever a 1 came from, I don't know. So a 5 there. Okay, so this is where it came from after doing those calculations. So 5 times 1, it is 5. 4 times 2, it is 8. So after we do that, after we do those calculations, we can easily multiply. We can easily multiply everything. So let me quickly multiply and then see how we can go. So we can easily say 5 over 8 times negative 2x squared is going to give you something like 5 over 8. There is a 4. There it should be a 4 down there. Okay, so 5 over 8 times 5 over 8 times that guy there. Okay, so this times that is going to give you something like a positive 5 over 8x squared. Yeah, when you multiply that by that, it will give you that. Then this guy times that guy is going to give you negative 5 over 8 and then x. Then this guy times that guy is going to give you something like positive. It's going to give you something like positive 15 over 8. Positive 15 over 8. So that's what you have there. So when you have that, you can easily now subtract like we have been doing. So you're going to subtract there. You say minus. So you say this minus that. This minus that. This has to have a 4. So this minus that is giving you a 0. This minus that is giving you a 0. Then this and that is going to give you negative 3 over 4 minus, which is going to be a plus. Minus and minus, it's going to be a plus. So 5 over 8, and then this will give you common denominator 8. 4 into 8 is 2. 2 times negative 3, it's negative 6, and then plus 5. So this will give you negative 1 over 8. So basically at this particular point, it's going to give you negative 1 over 8x. Then this one and that one will give you negative 15 over 8. Now you know that negative 2x squared into that one, it's going to give you something which is the denominator is a little bit having a higher degree than the numerator. So in such a case, what we can do is this one becomes our remainder. This one becomes our remainder. Okay, this one is our remainder. And then that one is our our quotient. So this one is our quotient. Therefore, we can move on and write properly. I'll say solution. So I'll start with the quotient. I'll start with the quotient. Okay, so the quotient in that particular case is simply equal to I'll go back a little bit and have half x squared, half x squared, and then we have plus 1 over 4x, and then minus we have 5 over 8. This is my answer for the question, but if I want, I can factorize the 1 over 2 and leave it like for it to just be something like something easy, but I won't do anything, I won't temper anything to it. For me, I can just simply leave it there. So this is where I can leave my quotient. Then the other thing, which is the remainder, so for the remainder, it is what was left here, which is negative 1 over 8x minus 15 over 8. So this is also my remainder and final answer. So if you have any question, you are free to unmute yourself or raise your hand so that I can explain where you're not clear. Okay, it's more like everyone is okay. So if you look at the way these questions were set, most of the questions we solve, they just go with constants. But for this particular question, it's a question where you were dealing throughout with fractions. Throughout, it was a game of fractions. So you just have to make sure that you are a bit careful and you know what you are doing. Let me quickly go to the last question. So the last question, I can write it as P of x is equal to x cubed plus x squared minus 5x minus 2. So if you remember very well, I explained that once you know how to factorize a polynomial, then you are capable of doing almost everything that has to do with the polynomial. So here you need to look for the zero roots. Check out math.
No, kindly take us to the previous slide. I have a question there.
Okay. Yes, what's your question?
I have a question, Doc. I have a question.
Yes, I'm back. I'm there. What's your question? I'm here. Oh.
Sir, someone is saying they have a question. Yes.
Okay. Let me move on. For those with questions, I think I am going to address you guys later on after I drop the video.
My question is on the previous slide. Yes, on that part where you started with the blue ink.
Yes.
Sir, on that part where you started writing in blue ink, I think 3x squared over 2 is supposed to be a negative because okay, I've seen it, yes. I've seen it's supposed to be a positive.
So you are the one who is wrong.
So I was wrong. I didn't see the sign.
Okay, I got you. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on and look at the next one. So I'll find the zero roots. So in this particular equation, this was something that I explained when we were doing math 1120. So the zero root here, which can work out, is a 2. So if x is equal to 2, then p of 2 is simply equal to 2 cubed plus 2 squared minus 5 minus 2. So p of 2 is simply equal to 8 plus 4 minus 10 minus 2, and p of 2 is simply equal to 0. So after you get that, you can use the synthetic division. So this is the same thing we did with math 1120. So p of x is equal to x cubed plus x squared minus 5x minus 2. So you're going to get the coefficients. So your coefficients here are 1, 1, -5, and -2. So those are your coefficients. By the way, I was supposed to check the degrees. 3, 2, 1, 0. So the degrees are all fine. So I'll use my synthetic division. So this is how I'll write my 2, which I have found here. The x is equal to 2. I'm going to put my 2 there. Then the coefficients, I'll put a 1 there, a 1 there, -5 there, and -2 there. Then once I do that, I can easily solve and do the needful thing by putting a 0 there. So 1 plus 0, it is 1. 2 times 1, it is 2. 1 plus 2, it is 3. 2 times 3, it is 6. And then -5 times 6, it is 1. 2 times that, it is 2. So that point is where the checkpoint is. So -2 and 2, when you add them, they're going to give you a 0. So this will be a 0. So from here you're going to get those coefficients and make a quadratic equation. So this quadratic equation, you can name it as q of x is simply equal to, you're going to get x squared and then plus 3x and then plus 1. So when you have that, your next thing is now to simply utilize that q of x. So you have q of x, which is simply equal to x squared. Q of x, which is simply equal to x squared plus 3x plus 1. Okay, so if you look at this quadratic guy, if you were to use product sum factor, the product will be a 1, the sum will be a 3, and then the factors, you're not going to have any factor which is going to work out there. So from here, since that is the case, that means that that equation is simply x minus 2 and x squared plus 3x and plus 1 plus 3x plus 1. Since that that q squared cannot be factorized any further, so this is how your guy was supposed to be factorized. So these are the final answer. We would have gone on in terms of factorizing if these had a way of factorizing them, but one thing you're going to understand is that you can't factorize it any further. So this is what the answer was. So that's why you can see even the marks are like that. This you spend much time, this you spend less time. So this was the final answer for this particular question. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question, you are free to ask right now, but for those who are going to have questions after the class, you are free to WhatsApp me on those lines.